Hi, I'm Joyce Liu, and I'm a senior here at Marquette.
And I'm Evan Canis, also a senior.
So selective schools, like in general, are schools that have really low admissions rates. And then typical ones you might think of are like the Ivies, like Harvard, Princeton, Yale. And then there's also schools like Northwestern and like other ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, typically when you're talking about selective schools, one sort of grouping that comes to mind is just like T20. Those are just the top 20 ranked schools, and that considers a lot of factors like satisfaction with college, how other peer institutions view the college. So there's a lot of factors that go into that ranking. And typically that T20 is where you're talking like selective, really selective schools.
For me, it was really more like what all the school could like offer me, not just like the opportunities, but also like the campus and the type of life that the students live like on campus, like quality of student life, like a balance of working hard and playing hard. And I think that's really present at most of the selective universities that I applied to.
And then another thing is like you can see there's really like a strong alumni network like going out of college. A lot of college beyond just learning what you want to major in. There's a lot of when you go out into the workforce, you want to have connections with people that can get you jobs, internships, everything that's really important to long-term success. So just being at a more competitive school, sometimes you find that that network is stronger and can maybe get you into more difficult to get places.
I would say just based off the application alone, there's a lot more essays and stuff you need to fill out, and then there's also usually interviews for selective schools compared to ones that don't have interviews. So you have to prep for those interviews, and then sometimes they like ask you to submit portfolios, especially if you're applying for a specific program or something like that.
Mm-hmm. And then also just like more generally with I guess application, taking this on like a more broad scale, like when you're applying for the school. There's like an element of sort of randomness there because what they're trying to do, it's less of like a, would you be a successful student here, which is what maybe more broadly colleges are trying to find. It's more of like a, can we, are you a good fit for our school? They're trying to shape a class, so maybe they need more people who are really good at, playing the violin or something like that. So maybe they're trying to build a class. So understanding that, you might not get into a school that you might expect to. Because of, I don't know, admission rate or something. But that's really just because there's that sort of added element that you can't find maybe at other schools.
So some selective schools, especially public ones like maybe UNC and UMich, they have early action, so that'll be due in, I think, early November-ish, and then you'll hear back like late January. And then for regular, you can...
Yeah, sure. So like it's sort of spread out. I want to say most are probably going to be March. Like we're hearing some decisions now, mid-March, some later March. But really around that April 1st deadline, a lot of schools are going to come out. What day exactly sort of depends. Usually the colleges will post something and specifically the Ivy Leagues like to all do it on the same day, same time. So just sort of look out for that. Sometimes they only tell you when you get closer to that time, but usually it's around that April 1st day.
And then these applications are all due around like New Year's. So after like January 1st, most of the selective schools will have all their applications due. I would say to be less nervous for interviews because most of the time the alumni are really like open and kind and they just want to hear about you and like also tell you about the school that they went to because they're super proud of that school. So I would say just be yourself, which is what everybody tells you to do, but pretend it's like just like a teacher that you're talking to when you go to that interview.
And then I think one thing that's important to do when you're applying to these schools is just like to take every decision with a grain of salt. You need to be willing to move on. When you're applying to these competitive schools, you can't really come in with the expectation of getting in no matter what the school is or what your perception is. You just need to take the decision as it is, move on, continue with school, everything that you're doing, and then just keep your hopes up for the future.